Hello my fellow handsome gentlemen, I'm Piotr Grotnik from Men's Improvement, the channel that is dedicated to make you look, feel, smell and be like the best possible version of yourself. The name Creed Aventus, you might have heard of it, you might have it in your own fragrance collection, or you might even know someone who either has it or has heard of it as well. If you answered yes to any of the questions, then you know that Creed Aventus is known for being the king of fragrances in the fragrance world. It has grown massively in popularity and it is being called the king of fragrance because it just smells like this fragrance that CEOs and bosses wear to work. But the cost though, $400. So I'm not making a video about Creed Aventus today, but I'm making a video about 4 fragrances that you could buy instead of Creed Aventus, and instead of spending $350 to $400 on fragrances that even smell like Creed Aventus or even better in my opinion. Let me show you the 4 fragrances. The first fragrance that reminds me of Creed Aventus and that I think you should buy instead of Creed Aventus is actually a fragrance that I didn't expect to put on the list. That is because it is a recent find of mine, and that is COMME de Garçons. After smelling it, I was shocked about how good this fragrance smelled, and I got this little sample, but I'm definitely going to buy a bottle sometime in the near future. Imagine if there was a version of Creed called Creed Aventus Plus, like a better version of Creed, and in my opinion, this is so good that I'll call it the Creed Aventus Plus. Wow! If you have smelled Creed before, you know that it smells of the patchouli, the pineapple, the bergamot. In the COMME de Garçons, I smelled the patchouli so much. I smelled the amber, I smelled the vetiver, and I also smelled a little hint of cinnamon. It just smells so fresh. It reminds me literally of Creed Aventus with a little extra something. I think it's the vetiver, and it's just a little more spicier, and there's just so much patchouli in this. And of course there's no pineapple that gives the Creed Aventus its life, but it reminds me so much of Creed, and in my opinion you should buy this one instead 100%. Even though the COMME de Garçons is a unisex fragrance, I definitely smell the masculinity in this one. It also lasts for a good while, and in my opinion lasts just as long as Creed Aventus. And the best part, it's $170 compared to Creed's $350 to $400. Number 2 is the Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man. Putting it on number 2 because it is the identical clone of Creed Aventus. It is so well known. It is called the cheap man's Creed Aventus, mainly because it has nearly identical DNA and it smells just as good, performs just as good, but is only $50 to $60 compared to the $300 to $400. If you just make a simple Google search about this fragrance, you will know that the majority of people compare this to Creed Aventus and say that if you don't have the money to spend on Creed Aventus, then you should buy Club de Nuit Intense Man. That's why I'm putting on number 2. It's just that simple. It's Creed Aventus in a $50 bottle. Number 3 is Acqua Di Gio Profumo. It isn't exactly the same as Creed Aventus, but it is very similar in terms of how masculine this smells, and it has the same vibe of a masculine CEO type of man smell. These hints just make it smell so similar to Creed. And this one is just one of my favorite fragrances of all time because it is just so masculine and so iconic, and it is just $80 compared to the $350 to $400 mark. That is why it's on the list of being a cheaper alternative to Creed Aventus. You can smell the patchouli, you can smell the bergamot, and it is similar but not quite the same, and I highly recommend this one if you don't have it already. And finally, number 4 is Pete and Pedro's Rebel. And you might think, what is Pete and Pedro? You might have heard of the influencer here on YouTube called Alpha M. He does the same type of content as I do. He is one of the OGs on the YouTube platform, and he has this grooming company called Pete and Pedro. And what is Alpha M's favorite fragrance? Have you guessed it yet? It's Creed Aventus, the dummy. Of course it's Creed Aventus because it is such a wonderful fragrance. He made his own version of Creed Aventus that is called Rebel. It is similar to Creed, but it is also its own fragrance. Rebel has a lot of similarities with Creed, such as patchouli, pineapple, amber and musk. But it smells so different still. Even though it has so many similarities, you can't call it a Creed Aventus clone because it has its own properties, its own hints that Creed doesn't have. And a lot of reviewers say that it reminds them of Creed, but it isn't a direct Creed Aventus clone. And compared to the $350 to $400 mark, you can get 50 milliliters of Rebel for just $49 on Pedro's site. But remember, it only ships to the US and Canada, so you might have to order it from Amazon or from somewhere else that has it. But yes, gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this list of 4 fragrances that I think you should buy instead of the expensive Creed Aventus that is in this little bottle right here. It is such a good fragrance, and if you want to wear Creed Aventus because you feel confident wearing Creed Aventus, wear Creed Aventus. But if you're the type of guy who wants the same smell or near identical smell for a little bit less money or a lot less money than Creed Aventus right here, then these 4 fragrances are definitely some recommendations that you should have a look at before buying a bottle of $400 Creed Aventus. But if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button on the video below so I know that you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comment section below if you have some of these fragrances, if you enjoyed the video, and if you have some other videos that you would like me to do, as for example a Creed Aventus review, or how to wear a fragrance, or how to apply a fragrance, and simply any type of content that you're interested in seeing. And subscribe to it if you haven't already. If you are interested in the channel, then press the notification bell down below also to get notified every single time I upload a new video, to educate you about everything about how to become a better man. Until the next video, smile more, it's free.